Welcome back to War Thunder News. This week we're finally getting some dev blogs for 1.97, so hit that subscribe button because we have 3 Swedish tank dev blogs to cover, and a good number of top tier jets are surprisingly getting denied. So anyways, let's get to these tank dev blogs, starting off with the Stridsvagn M31, which is a reserve tier tank, armed with a 37mm cannon and 2 types of shells that apparently have ballistic caps. Personally, I found this dev blog to be lacking a lot of important information, and the pros and cons were completely useless. So I went over to Wikipedia to find out some actual stats for the thing. Apparently can go 40 kilometers an hour at 150 horsepower engine, had 8 to 24 millimeters of armor, which was pretty low for even reserve tier stuff, and may unfortunately end up being 50 cal bait from Spags. And also according to Wikipedia, the cannon could fire AP and APHE, although it also said it could fire APDS, so I don't know, might just be Wikipedia in there. And in my personal opinion, I feel like they would be better if the tank was called the Landstreck L10. Stridsvagn just means tank, so kind of redundant to name it that, although I'm pretty sure M31 is the military designation, so I guess that one is better. But generally the tank doesn't look too bad. The cannon seems nice. Can't really do much penetration, they didn't state that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get through most rank 1 armor. It's a 37 after all. And despite the armor being pretty weak, it does seem to have some good angles on the front, so that could help a bit, but also plenty of weak spots, so it's a mixed bag. The next tank, the Strv or Strv M40L, is really getting me confused with the naming scheme they're going with. Strv is really just an abbreviation of Stridsvagn, so why not also call this one Stridsvagn, or unless you're confusing people too much. But this one looks really interesting. I like the design a lot. It's very bizarre and out there. The cannon's all the way to the side of the turret, but unfortunately the armor's only a mixed bag of up to 50 millimeters. However, certain points where you thought would be stronger are weaker for some reason, like the gun mallet for example. And it also has the same cannon as the reserve tier tank. However, it is only rank 1, so it could still have a pretty low battle rating and still do well. Also not announced in this dev blog, but observed in the video of the tank, it's very possible you could have a new fire effect for when tanks explode. The third tank is a rank 2 tank destroyer, the Stormartillerivagn M43, or the SAV M43. Interesting about this tank is in the dev blog they actually show off 2 different tanks, well same tank but 2 different guns on it, one with a 75mm and one with a 105mm. It's also stated that the tank will come stock with APBC and HE and can get an upgraded heat with 240mm of penetration. On top of that, it has a maximum 50mm of frontal armor, and all of this is coming at you at rank 2. Although they don't really specify which tank gets which shells, though I'm assuming the high penetrating heat belongs to the 105 variant because I can't imagine a 75 and 1944 penetrating 240mm of armor. My favorite part about this tank is it's based off the Panzer 38T, which means perhaps maybe we could get some Swedish ones. Unless this video takes forever to make or guys decides to throw in another dev blog late in the day. That should be all the dev blogs that have come out so far. Looks like there was another dev blog, this time for the Lago I. This is an odd one, as it comes at rank 2 with a 37mm cannon that can fire AP, APHE, and APDS. And the APDS could get 90mm of penetration at 500 meters. And on top of that, it has the 3.1 second reload rate, as well as 5 crew members, and it can go 45 kilometers on roads with a 285 horsepower engine. Although the main downside is it only has 34mm of armor. Though the armor is commonly at some pretty good angles, still don't think that's going to help you much if this thing has a relatively high battle rating. I'm thinking around somewhere at 3.3 or so. But really, can anyone explain to me why everyone's asking for Chinese tanks in the comments of the dev blog? Like, I'm all for some more Chinese tanks, but was there anything hinting towards more? Only Swedish tanks. I was expecting at least one to be not a Swedish tank, but hey, whatever. Alright, well now there was a dev blog about a non-Swedish tank. It's actually a US jet, which, well, there's a lot of those. This one is the Douglas A-4 Skyhawk, and it does what most US jets do from the 60s, carries a lot of ordnance and blows things up. It has 2 20mm cannons, or it can carry just about anything under its wings, from 20mm gun pods to bullpups to air-to-air missiles. It's a subsonic jet that can only reach 1,056 kilometers an hour at sea level, and generally all around looks like a pretty cool plane, though it would be even cooler if they added some napalm. Like, I know it wouldn't do much against tanks, but it would be cool, and it'd kill like bunkers and stuff maybe. There's quite a few other things that people are anticipating, like Apaches and Pumas and the M60 Slip and all those other leaked vehicles in the past. There's also a lot of vehicles that have no rumors about them, people are just anticipating. Speaking of things that people are anticipating, the Mirage got denied again. This was announced both on the rumor roundup of the official forums by the story team dude and in the M40L dev blog comment section by the administrator Ouchie. However, the circumstances of it being denied are kind of weird. The store team dude just said it's not coming this patch. However, However, Ouchie's reply comment sounded a little weird. Let me read it. Unfortunately, not in this update. It's still under development. This specific plane happened to be really complicated to model due to the tail, or absence of it. This specific configuration was not really possible in our game until recently. And he just waffled on for a bit. See, what's weird here is the Mirage does have a tail. I guess it's not the most traditional of tails, but it wouldn't be the first delta wing plane in the game. The Horton 229 has less of a tail, and it's been in the game for quite a while now. Although Sim10AP, in replying to people being outraged about the fact that it's not coming this patch, stated it has nothing to do with the age of production, but more with capability, performance, technicality, and also development references. Mirage is a complicated and sophisticated aircraft that's extremely maneuverable and well known for being more than capable aircraft against many of its counterparts. It will be a capable aircraft when it arrives, rest assured. It is in progress, but we have said it's not in 1.97, blah blah blah. So my assumption is that it either isn't in development or is in very recent development because people are wanting it, and the forum team just says that it is in development to calm people down. Because all that they're saying right now, it sounds like excuses to me. Also, in the words of top tier jets that are again denied, stated by Sim10AP, Germany is not going to be getting a Phantom or any jet this update, which I'm sure is a letdown to many German jet fans. In the terms of Japanese jet fans, somebody stated on the forums, as DNM said, it will be F4 Kai instead of original F4 And then the store team dude replied with, all they announced was that they started gathering materials on Japanese Phantoms. Please don't trust any poorly translated hearsay. I keep reading that as heresy. Also, while DMM helps us with finding data for Japanese vehicles, for which we're very thankful, they don't decide whether or when we will implement it into game, which I'm not really sure whether to make heads or tails of. I guess you could say that the F4 Kai isn't coming, but are they also denying the F4 for this patch? There's a lot that you could take away from that statement. Though, what he said about poorly translated hearsay, are you sure about that? While I'm not fluent in Japanese, and Google Translate can be quite shifty, especially when it comes to Asian languages, if you go into the Japanese side of Wikipedia and look at the F4 section, they state a few aircraft, the F4 the F4 with little squiggles behind it, the REF4E, and the REF4 And it's obvious we're not talking about reconnaissance versions of the aircraft, so you can cut those out, and that'll only lead two aircraft, the F4 and the F4 with the little squiggle behind it. But if you go to the announcement page of the DMM website, it clearly states that it's the F4 with the little squiggles behind the name, or what Google translates into revised. So I don't know, maybe Store Team Dude knows the moon runes better than I do, or better than Wikipedia and Google Translate and DMM, because they clearly show some F4 Kais flying by on their page announcing that they are researching the aircraft. But what I can assume from this statement from the Store Team Dude is that we're probably not going to get the F4 Kai, maybe the F4 However, I'm very unsure of any of it. Other jets that get denied were the F14, F16, and F15. Not really sure what people were hoping for those anyways. But not only were they denied for 1.97, but also 1.99. However, he didn't say anything about patch 2.01, but actually the F14 isn't that too much more advanced than things that we already have. It is more advanced, or at least it has better loadouts, but in comparison to things like the T2 and the British Phantom, it's not a whole lot better. Well, it's better, but not as much as you would assume. Also got denied is proper functioning radar for the T2K and Phantom FGR2. Those had a Pulse Doppler radar, which isn't affected by ground clutter. The excuse here is that only two planes use that type of radar, so there's no point in implementing it. But at the very least, you could just get rid of the ground clutter for those two planes. Like, come on. And then someone was asking, if Germany's not getting any jets, what about the German F-86K skin in the files? And Sim10AP came at him saying, there's a lot of skins in the files, but like, seriously, why not just add it for Germany? You're not going to hurt anyone, and you don't need to develop anything new. And there's another Sim quote where he doesn't deny the English Electric Lightning, just refuses to comment on whether it's coming or not. They've actually been much more talkative than they usually are on the forums about things that are and are not coming, which is odd and concerning. Maybe they're planning something. So here's some more random quotes from the forum staff. Hungarian vehicles were turned down for this patch, but it was stated that anything is possible in the future. There's a couple questions about new premiums being added. One was asking if there's going to be any new premium packs. The answer was 2 to 3, but not clear yet. But the Store Team Dude also put out the idea that it's possible that we could see some Golden Eagle premiums. And that's all the information I could get from official sources. But my Discord mod CT Center did do some data mining and found some interesting things. The first few are some boring changes. The Porter got a buff on its reload speed and some other things. What's interesting here is the max distance of the automatic PTV round went from 10,000 meters to 30,000 meters. And according to him, the distance in which tanks are loaded in has been increased. Not too much stuff, but there's some speculation to be made off of this. Precisely that perhaps maybe they're planning to have really large maps where shooting over 10,000 meters is needed. I hope that it means that they are planning to have a tank enduring confrontation map. However, that's completely speculation based off two values slightly changed. Now, before I end this video, first I'd like to thank my YouTube members, starting with a new one, Twin Top. Thank you very much for joining. Tex, One Max, Durkonks TV, Roger Rammer, The Royal Rat, Grimace, I like them thick, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gunsinks, and Waffly Joker 6. A big thank you to all my YouTube members, make everything a lot easier. YouTube members get videos uploaded a little bit early, unique Discord roles, and emojis to use during streams. So if you want to join them, just hit the join button down below. It's $5 a month. But if you have any comments, concerns, or questions, you can hit me up down below or on my Discord. If you've liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I make War Thunder weekly news videos every weekend and make rain videos throughout the week, and I like to stream on Saturdays. So be sure to hit the bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. In the terms of bonus news, the various German tech tree supposed leaks that I talked about in my Puma model leak video, I did so in a strange way, and I feel like the point wasn't passed on strong enough, so I want to reinforce it here. Those were all fake. They were made on a Chinese fan site by a Chinese fan who wanted to expand the German tech tree in a reasonable way by adding very possible vehicles, and he did a really good job with Photoshop. Although I felt I put some pretty strong reasons in there on why I felt it was fake and it should have been passed on to the viewer, although it seemed not to be as successful, although perhaps viewers who didn't watch the bonus news of that video won't watch the bonus news of this video either, so this whole section was pointless. Although, what about the Jaguar prototype tank that was built between the US and China in the 70s? Would that go in the Chinese tank because the base tank is a Chinese Type 59? Or would it go in the US tree because the US put more effort and time than developing it?